The Atlanta Falcons lost to Minnesota by 1, lost to Miami in the final seconds, and beat New England. And they can hit you from anywhere on the field. Here is Steve Bartkowski to Alfred Jenkins, who has caught passes in 60 consecutive games. Bartkowski has another favorite receiver, Wallace Francis, the 8-year veteran. He looks for Francis in the end zone and finds him, but for the second time this year, a touchdown pass nullified by penalties. The 49ers are undefeated with excitement reigning. They alternate quarterbacks, and if it isn't DeBerg, it's Joe Montana off the campus of Notre Dame. Here's Montana on a bootleg going in for a touchdown against the New York Jets. Razzle-dazzle in San Francisco from DeBerg to Hofer to Solomon. Back to DeBerg, the pass to Hofer, and it works down to the Jet 12-yard line. There you have it, the Atlanta Falcons versus the San Francisco 49ers from Candlestick Park in San Francisco. It is a magnificent day here in the Bay Area. It's the kind of day that makes real estate prices go up in California. I'm Vin Scully along with George Allen. And George, besides the weather and the meeting of these two, it's a big game for both clubs.
It is a very big game. I think we have two teams that can score, put a lot of points on the board. Both clubs have had trouble defense in the past. We should see a wide open ball game.
The 49ers belie the fact that you have to have a good defense to win in the NFL. They perhaps have the worst, giving up the most yardage, and yet they come in here undefeated.
Well, the 49ers have won 3 games, but their opponents are 0-9. I think the Atlanta Falcons have better talent than the 49ers. It wouldn't surprise me if the Atlanta Falcons pull this off today.
Well, let's find out and go down on the field. It's the Atlanta Falcons and the 49ers. Down on the field, the San Francisco 49ers won the toss. They've elected to receive, and so Tim Mazzetti is teeing the ball up on the 35-yard line, and in a moment we'll get this ball game underway. Mazzetti will be kicking deep. Number 48 is Phil Francis on the left of your screen. Number 35 is Lenville Elliott. Both men standing on the goal line, and before a big crowd in Candlestick, here we go. The undefeated 49ers and Atlanta 1-2. And Mazzetti is ready, and we're off. The kick appears to hang up around the 4-yard line, and that's where Lenville Elliott picks it to the 20 and across the 25 before he goes down at about the 27. Gene Barrett, number 77, was leading the wedge for him. So San Francisco will put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 27-yard line. There are the fellows who will handle the ball. Clark, Solomon, and Young, DeBerg, and of course Hofer and Cooper are the running backs. The offensive line for the 49ers, Singleton, Ayers, Quillen, Cross, and Farnhorst. So in the first play, they send James Owens wide left. Freddie Solomon goes wide right. And DeBerg is going upstairs right away. And a flag on the play. James Owens caught the ball. He was hit by Kenny Johnson. And they're going to pick on Johnson, of course. He's a 5th-round pick, a rookie this year.
Right, Ben, good observation. Johnson, 37, was laying off. He was playing deep, and right away DeBerg went after him. It was a good throw and a good catch. It'll be interesting to see how the Falcons compensate on defense to help Johnson.
First down.
You know, Ben, that's what happened in the Minnesota game. Rashad had a field day against Johnson.
Well, they open up the ball game. We take another look. DeBerg, and you have to notice 2 things. First of all, no pressure. Secondly, his receiver has gotten his man beaten, and then you see Johnson all over James Owens, who didn't figure to start, but he's in there. Jimmy Robinson is banged up. Solomon goes right and Owens goes left, and it's a quick out, and Owens made the catch, and I think he was fighting the glare a little bit. Once again, Kenny Johnson on him, and he downs it at the 45-yard line. So that means on 2 plays, James Owens is 2 for 2. Meanwhile, the defensive line, a 3-4 with Yates, Zealy, and Merrow up front for Atlanta. Richardson, Kuykendall is banged up, but he's starting with Curry and Williams at the linebacking spot. Lawrence, Johnson, Reed, and Pridemore. So DeBerg from the 46-yard line. Here's Paul Hofer. Randy Cross is blocking, and he picks up the first down going across the 40. And by the time Buddy Curry knocks him down, Randy Cross, throwing a good block, led the play for the first down. Well, they will spot the ball at about the 37.
A good call. Here's probably the most underrated football player in the NFC, Paul Hofer. Good runner, good blocker, good receiver, doesn't make mistakes. Underrated football player.
So the 49ers started on their own 28-yard line, and on a couple of plays they have moved it to the Atlanta 37, and they have it 1st and 10. And look out this time as Frank Reed came in to put the slug on him.
Well,
Reed, a 5-year veteran.
You mentioned earlier no pressure on DeBerg. You're not going to get much pressure with a 3-man rush. That time they dogged the strong safety from the backside. This is a perfect call. Usually you get a fumble on this. Play action, looking away. DeBerg did a good job hanging on to that football. Good call by the Falcons defense.
So it is 2nd and 19 for Steve DeBerg. Remember, DeBerg has a nerve problem with his vocal cords. He's wearing a power pack and a microphone. Getting protection and overthrows Freddie Solomon, for whom it was intended. Frank Reed was defending. Let's look at DeBerg. You might be able to see the microphone. It's on the lower bar of his face mask, and if you notice, he looks like he's starring in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's the power pack with the amplifier, and he claims that it hinders him in the very early going, and then after a couple of minutes he's accustomed to it. Last week they made believe he had technical problems, brought in Montana, who bootlegged for a touchdown against the Jets.
Smart football, good strategy.
Dwight Clark now goes wide right, and Freddie Solomon is left, and both backs release. And DeBerg intended for his man Paul Hofer coming out of the backfield, and it's no good. In talking about passes to Hofer, you know, he has 22 catches and leads the NFL in receiving yardage, so you'll always be looking for DeBerg to Hofer.
Jeff Merrill deserves credit for that. He put pressure on DeBerg, made him throw the ball, backing up before he was set.
So now the barefoot boy, Jim Miller, kicking it away down to the right side, and little Reggie Smith is going to make the reception at the 10. He's only 5'4", and the little guy is lost in a crowd, and they finally run him out of bounds just shy at the 34-yard line. And it was Willie Harper who pushed him out. There he is, the smallest man in the NFL, Reggie Smith, 5'4", but boy, he can go. No score early in the first quarter.
If you had driven along this street just a few years ago, the cars would have been very different. But now, more and more people are driving cars like the Honda Accord 4-door sedan, with room inside for 4 adults and their possessions. It's a true sedan in every sense. In fact, the Accord 4-door is one of the most successful front-wheel drive sedans in America. Simple proof that society has outgrown the big sedan.
Honda, we make it simple.
Official in this less filling beer, it's made with only natural ingredients.
The real point is taste. Besides, since I switched to Natural Light, I'm making a name for myself.
Hey, Nick Bonacani!
Where? I know him.
Natural Light. Taste is why you'll switch.
With 12:43 left to go in the first quarter, San Francisco started on its 28, got to the Atlanta 37, but eventually went backwards, and now it's the Falcons, 1st and 10 on their own 34. Bartkowski with the second man, that's Lynn Kane, and he gets about 3 before he is buried. Stuckey was the first man to hit him, and then Archie Reese and Ricky Churchman.
You know, Vin, I like this offensive line of the Falcons. I think it's a solid line. They got a good center. Van Noten reminds me a little bit of Lenny Hoss, who played for the Redskins. They got 2 fine tackles, both 6'6". I don't think there's a club that has 2 better tackles than the Falcons.
So here comes Atlanta. It is 2nd and 6 for Bartkowski. This time it is William Andrews, and Andrews spins out across the 45, picking up the first down. Andrews, the 2-year man out of Auburn, who gained over 1,000 yards in his rookie year, but he's been pretty quiet so far this year.
He's quick. 57, overran the play, bunts. Andrews picked a hole and cut back. I like the ability of the Falcons offensive line to come off the ball and run first before you start throwing the football.
1st and 10 Atlanta on their own 48-yard line. Bartkowski looking left, dumps it off to Andrews, but the Niners read the play. Willie Harper went out wide with him, and then Jimmy Webb made the tackle and brought him down.
Willie Harper, number 59, is playing good football for the 49ers. Had a good year today.
So they picked up a yard. As you see the linebackers, Harper, Buns, and a rookie, Bobby Leopold.
And you know, the reason they could get rid of Hollywood Henderson is because Leopold has developed.
Or as they called him up here, Holiday Henderson. So it is 2nd and 9 on the Atlanta 49. Andrews, the sole setback behind Bartkowski. Kane out wide left. Bartkowski throwing to his man Jenkins, who takes a pop from Charles Cornelius, but he picked up the first down at the San Francisco 40-yard line.
Well, watch the 49ers dog. Bartkowski stayed in there, delivered the ball. Jenkins stayed with it, made a good catch.
By the way, for Alfred Jenkins, he has now caught a pass in 61 consecutive games, and he did a good job of holding on to the ball because Charles Cornelius hit him with all his syllables. 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 40. William Andrews gets to maybe the 35. You know, Andrews was held to only 21 yards against the Dolphins last week. That's the lowest yardage total in his young career, so he's coming off a poor game.
And you know, when they drafted him, he was primarily a blocker in college. Last year he got over 1,000 yards. Andrews and Kane give them a complete backfield.
One thing about him, too, he is the leading receiver on the Falcons. He's caught 12 passes this year. So it is 2nd and 4 on the 34 of San Francisco. Bartkowski going to the right side to Jenkins again, and they box him in with Charles Cornelius and Bobby Leopold, and they knock him out of bounds at about the 26-yard line.
Well, Cornelius, 21's playing the left corner because of an injury. He's playing a little bit loose. Alfred Jenkins is catching the short passes. Good offensive football by the Falcons. Try to get one-on-one. Go after him. Jenkins is an example of another guy that's too small, you think, to play football. All he does is make big plays.
He's 5'10" and 172. Alfred Jenkins, 1st and 10 Falcons on the San Francisco 25-yard line. There goes William Andrews, slowed down as he got to the line of scrimmage, and with a little burst picked up a couple of yards. It will be interesting to see if Andrews has a pretty good running game, and we should point out that so far this year, San Francisco has proven the best defense is a good offense. The 49ers have allowed more total yards, 1,196, than any other team in the NFL, and yet they're undefeated.
But as we said at the top of the show, this is the best ball club the 49ers have played. The Falcons have good talent.
2nd and 7 on the 22. In motion is Lynn Kane to the right. Play action fake to Andrews, and the pass is to Junior Miller, and he is belted by Hicks. Junior Miller is that great young tight end, but Hicks came up, Dwight Hicks out of Michigan, and jarred the ball loose.
Well, good coverage by Hicks. Junior Miller didn't have a chance. Here we see it. Fakes the play action. Junior Miller's running what we call a seam pattern. Never had possession of the ball. He has the speed to go deep. His speed and receiving will help Alfred Jenkins, 84, and Francis, 89.
So from the 22-yard line, it is 3rd down, 3rd and 7. And Bartkowski deep in the end zone, no good. Intended for Alfred Jenkins. Defending was Charlie Johnson.
Well, he had him open.
Bartkowski, a very deep threat with Jenkins, especially because Jenkins is averaging 28 yards a catch. That's second to Billy Sims of Detroit.
He had the protection. He had him open. Good coverage. Pretty good throw.
So 4th and 7, and Tim Mazzetti, who is 5 out of 6 in field goals. He's had one block, and that was a 50-yard kick. John James will be the holder. Mazzetti with different colored shoes, as you can see. The spot at the 30-yard line and the 40-yard field goal effort is good. So Atlanta gets on the scoreboard. And in the early going of the first quarter, we have 7 minutes and 58 seconds, and it looks like each team can move readily against the other. And Atlanta on the scoreboard, 3-0.
When Ronald Reagan speaks of the good old days when he was governor of California, there are some things he does not mention. For example, he increased state spending by 120%. He brought 3 tax increases to the state. He added 34,000 employees to the state payroll. The Reagan campaign is reluctant to acknowledge the accuracy of these facts today. But can we trust the nation's future to a man who refuses to remember his own past? Re-elect President Carter on November 4th.
It was Mercedes-Benz that produced the world's first production diesel car, the first 5-cylinder diesel car, this 200-mile-per-hour diesel car, the first turbocharged diesel car, and the world's only 3,000-mile-per-gallon diesel vehicle. For 1980, only Mercedes-Benz can apply all that expertise to these diesel cars. Mercedes-Benz, the pioneer in diesels for 44 years.
Live, Pedroza and Lockridge for the WBA featherweight title. Plus, highlights of the Acapulco Cliff Divers next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Tim Mazzetti kicks a 40-yard field goal to give Atlanta a 3-0 lead. George, what about the play selection 3rd and 4? Atlanta went for a touchdown pass. Do you like that kind of a call?
I always like to get the first down and then go from there. Keep the drive going rather than kick it.
Here's Linville Elliott taking it on the 3-yard line. He's out to the 15, and down he goes at about the 18-yard line. So Elliott making the return. The first man to hit him was Glazebrook, and there he goes, Bobby Glazebrook. So San Francisco will put the ball in play just shy of the 20. They'll spot it at the 19. Friends, this telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Francisco 49ers and the National Football League is prohibited. So 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 19. DeBerg got the controls. Cooper in front of Hofer out of the eye. Play action fake to Hofer. They try the right side. No. Let's see if the reception is made. It was Dwight Clark who made the catch. Clark is a very handy guy. He's coming off a big day last week against the Jets. He caught 7 passes for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You know, Ben, that was a play action pass. The Falcons defense is playing pass every down. The linebackers, the strong side linebacker, Williams, number 58, was off the line. Usually you have him right on the line tight to play the run. The deep backs, the corners are laying off. So if the 49ers run the football, I think they can have some success.
You know, one thing we know about Dwight Clark, you can see he just missed a first down. Not only has he scored 2 touchdowns and coming off a big game last week, we know he's a winner. They tell us his girlfriend was elected Miss USA. Talking about winners, Houston just knocked off Cincinnati 13-10. So it'll be 2nd down and about a foot for San Francisco. The ball just at the 29. San Francisco, the first time they got the ball, started on their own 28 and moved down to the Atlanta 37, only to be stifled on a good, strong safety dog by Frank Reed, and they finally had to give up the ball. So now it is 2nd and about a foot on the 29. Cooper and Hofer behind DeBerg. They'll go to Big Cooper trying to get outside, and he's going to be dragged down from behind, and Jeff Merrow was the man to catch him. And Merrow, who is a big fella, he is 6'4", 230, and yet he was able to come along and drag Cooper down from behind.
And the 49ers had 2 tight ends at that time, Charlie Young and Ramson. They ran to Ramson's side. Not very good blocking. Now that hurts when you got 2nd and 2 and you don't pick up that first down.
They had less than a yard.
Yes. Now you got to throw the ball.
Baltimore leading the Jets 7-0. The Jets, of course, coming off a loss to San Francisco. It is a 3rd and 6 for the Niners, and DeBerg has to go up in the air, lobbing it to Clark, and Dwight makes the reception, fumbles it out of bounds. So, of course, San Francisco possession at the 36 for a first down. And it was Al Richardson who was over there trying to help out.
Well, Clark made a fine catch here. The ball was thrown high, and it was kind of floating in there a little bit. You see that? He goes up and takes it, fumbles, out of bounds, forward, first down.
You know, when he was at Clemson, Clark did not get all the thunder because the quarterback was Steve Fuller, and Fuller was the #1 draft choice of Kansas City this year, but this fella can catch him. So they pick up the first down at the 36. Ramson on the left side and Charlie Young, the tight end, on the right. And DeBerg is going for a bomb. And there's a collision at the 25. Both men going after the ball. And, of course, Frank Reed is down there arguing that it was Freddie Solomon who bumped Roland Lawrence.
But Lawrence has perfect position. This is fine defense on the part of the Falcons. Now watch Lawrence. There's no way the receiver is going to get that ball. He has his body between the receiver and the ball. If anything, the offensive man pushed him.
So Roland Lawrence bumping heads with Freddie Solomon. That'll make it a 2nd and 10. The ball on the San Francisco 36. They'll try Hofer. He gives it to Solomon. And on the end around, Solomon getting away from tacklers, gets up across the 40 to about the 43. Well, the only thing different about that from last week, Solomon didn't give it back to DeBerg.
And DeBerg was back there setting it up. That type of play keeps the defense honest. You never know. You can't leave your pursuit lanes or leave your position too soon when they run a reverse or any type of gadget. Now watch DeBerg come back. See DeBerg 17. He's in a position to get a lateral and then throw a forward pass. By the way, Solomon then was a quarterback in college. He can throw the ball. We might see him throw the ball.
That's right, because San Francisco under Bill Clark with a wide open offense. Cleveland talking about wide open, leaving Tampa 34-20. So it's a 3rd and 3 for DeBerg. And he finds his man Charlie Young, the tight end, who picks up the first down and goes out of bounds at the San Francisco 47. Joel Williams riding him across the chalk.
And Charlie Young, 86, is a fine football player, has a good attitude. This was a good trade Bill Walsh made. They needed the tight end that could go deep, a big target, who can also block, and Charlie Young has made this ball club much stronger.
So San Francisco started on its 19. They've worked the ball out to the 48-yard line where they have it 1st and 10. Second man is Paul Hofer, and he gets across midfield, maybe right at the 50-yard line. Hofer is a workhorse. Among other things, he is a hard-nosed back. He leads the NFL in receiving, and you always have to watch him at the other end of a DeBerg pass as well as his running. So it'll be 2nd down and 8 from midfield. It is 3-0 Atlanta. We have 4 minutes and 25 seconds left in the first quarter. Clark goes left and Solomon goes right. DeBerg stays in. Now releases to Hofer. And Hofer is tripped up at the last minute by Roland Lawrence. And that was a good play for Lawrence to see him releasing his block and coming out of the backfield.
That was, and he had quite a bit of time to throw. He wanted to go downfield. Watch this. Pretty good protection. Now he steps up. Tried to step up. Got the ball off to Hofer and prevent a sack. By the way, the 49ers send in all their plays through Sam White, who's doing a fine job here, to Montana. Then Montana signals the plays to DeBerg. That's how they send their offensive plays in.
So it'll be 3rd and 9. They actually lost a yard on the San Francisco 49 on a draw to Earl Cooper. He's across the 45. Wilson Fomina, number 74, hooked him with an arm, and the rookie linebacker, Buddy Curry, knocked him down. Earl Cooper is a study, a rookie out of Rice, and they expect him to be in the mold of a Muncie and a Foreman.
I like him, Vin. He is a football player. I can see why they could trade Jackson to the Redskins with a guy like Cooper around.
Now, Jim Miller, the rookie from Mississippi, who has kicked so well. Look at that one. And a fair catch by Reggie Smith. That thing went right out of your screen. Marvelous.
5.0 hang time. Anybody in this ballpark, for the most part, can run a 40 in 5 seconds.
This kid out of Mississippi can kick either barefoot or shoe. 4 years, never had a kick blocked. He has averaged 43 yards a punt. Atlanta 3, San Francisco nothing.
Now, Zenith System 3 is more. Superb picture. And more. Now, System 3 offers you the PRP circuit. It gives you 25% more picture sharpness. System 3, 25% more sharpness, more detail. Zenith, we're moving television into the future.
Oh, what a feeling.
Lean and clean, symbol of the Toyota Celica. Celica, lean and clean and a little bit mean. Aerodynamically styled to let the wind glide over its surface. Carefully engineered for the 80s to give amazingly precise performance. The Toyota Celica, because a lean, clean machine is a very good feeling.
Oh, what a feeling to drive Toyota.
Wednesday, the television premiere of Fugitive Family, starring Richard Crenna and Diane Baker, running from the mob. Their daughter's romance threatening all their lives. Fugitive Family, Wednesday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
We have 2 minutes and 56 seconds left in the first quarter. Atlanta on a 40-yard field goal by Tim Mazzetti, leading 3-0. St. Louis leading Philadelphia. What a shocker. O.J. Anderson has scored twice, and they're leading 24-7. First and 10, Atlanta on their own 20-yard line. And a draw to Andrews, and he's out to the 25-yard line. Dewey McClain finally hit him.
You know,
check me on that. Bobby Leopold, the rookie.
You know, Vin, Andrews' best plays are quick hitters, right up the gut, right up the middle. Now this is a lead draw type of play with switch blocking, where the guard comes around and gets the middle linebacker. But he's at his best when he's hitting straight ahead, right up the middle on quick hitting plays.
Well, he just picked up 6. It is 2nd and 4 from the 26-yard line. The Falcons go slot left. A draw, but this time a collision in the backfield, and now he's still on his feet across the 30 as Andrews to about the 32.
Well, that shows good leg drive and good balance. He was hit for a loss. Watch this. Fine defense by the 49ers, good penetration, but nobody locked up their arms.
He bumped into his own man, Dave Scott, and finally got away from Scott. That was Scott number 70, and he gets back up and makes it a rather successful play as he picks up the first down. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 32. Jenkins wide left. Bartkowski is going to dump it off. They set up a little screen, and there goes Andrews out across the 35 to about the 36-yard line. Danny Bunz was there to make the tackle, and also over to cover was Archie Reese.
You know what we have developing here, Vin, so far, the Falcons have shown they can run on the 49er defense. Now that is going to help Bartkowski, no question about it. Also, Bartkowski is an improved quarterback this year. I like what he's doing. He's getting rid of the ball a little quicker. He's never been a mobile quarterback, but he's moving around just enough to bother the defense.
Lehman Bennett watching his young protege at the quarterback position. 2nd and 6 on the 35 for Atlanta. In motion is Wallace Francis. They give it to Lynn Kane. Kane cutting inside behind the block and gets shy of the 40-yard line. And again, it was Dave Scott leading the parade, and Dan Bunz, number 57, making the stop for San Francisco.
Ben, you mentioned Lehman Bennett. They've lost some tough ball games. They could be 3-0 very easily.
Very easily. Willie Harper, the linebacker on the left side for San Francisco, is shaken up, and he has to come out. Keener Turner has to come in for him. The offensive coordinator sending signals in for Atlanta, where it is 3rd and 3 on the Atlanta 39. And Bartkowski going upstairs to Andrews, no good. So on a 3rd and 3, they pass to Andrews and they can't connect. Keener Turner, who just came in there for Harper, was there defending.
Now I like the play that he called. It's a good play. The ball should have been completed. It was thrown behind the receiver and just a little bit hard.
So John James, longest 59, has not kicked one into the end zone, and he's only had 7 of 14 punts returned.
Well, he's a great punter also.
Hicks and Solomon standing on the San Francisco 20-yard line. There's James' punt, and it'll be Solomon at the 28. And Solomon gets to the 39-yard line, so a return of about 11 yards, and that's where San Francisco will put it in play. Ray Strong made the tackle. But John James kicks it down there, and San Francisco will trot it in, trailing 3-0.
Outside, the Canon NP200 may look like any small copier, but inside there's a world of difference, a world of micronics, where 20 copies a minute are not only possible, but made reliable with a microcomputer. Fiber optics precisely defines your image, and a toner projection system gives you clear copies on virtually any paper. Up to 11 by 17. Compact in size and price, the Canon NP200 is definitely worth looking into.
That your dad?
Uh-huh.
What's he doing?
Selling insurance.
Oh, what kind?
Nationwide.
Why?
Because he likes to sell good stuff.
Oh.
My mom's a nationwide agent, too.
Really?
She likes to help people.
Well, nationwide agents like to offer blanket protection for people's lives, health, homes, cars, businesses.
He cooks good hot dogs, too.
And they cook good hot dogs, too.
Nationwide is on your side.
Live next Saturday, see spectacular bids, scheduled bid for Horse of the Year honors at the Jockey Club Gold Cup race. Next Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports.
The San Francisco 49ers have won their first 3 games of the year for the first time since 1952 with Bill Walsh at the helm. And Atlanta is 1-2, barring a 1-point loss and then a defeat to Miami in the last few seconds. They could be 3-0. DeBerg pitching back to Cooper. Cooper at the 40 and gets to the 45-yard line, a pickup of 6, so it'll be 2nd and 4.
Cooper gives the 49ers outside speed as well as inside speed, and he has the size. He reminds me a little bit of John Riggins. Riggins could run outside and inside. He's a real addition to their offense. He's also a good receiver. Many times you draft a guy in the first round and you're not sure whether he can catch the ball like he should in pro football.
Paul Hofer did a pretty good job of leading the play. So they spot the ball at the 45. DeBerg to Hofer with Ayers in front. Got away from Merrill, but down he goes, leaping over Kenny Johnson. He was caught from behind by Robert Pennywell.
Well, Merrill is playing defense like you want a defensive end to play. He's penetrating. He's getting across. Whether he makes the play or not, he's forcing the runner deep.
Joel Williams banged up for Atlanta. He's down on the field. Merrill putting on the pressure, and then Kenny Johnson coming one way. And you can see Joel Williams, a 2-year man out of Wisconsin La Crosse. They picked him up as a free agent from Miami.
Then the reason they got this good field position is that John James rushed his punt. Got off a poor kick.
Come, drive in the 4th dimension. Experience the 4-wheel drive edge of the American Eagle. Feel our 4 wheels bite into bone-dry pavement, slice through rain, eat up snow. The American Eagle takes your family with confidence where it's never been before. And introducing an all-new Eagle with high gas mileage and a list price starting at $59.95. Experience driving in the 4th dimension with the American Eagles from American Motors.
Hey, man, I want natural light. A dapper skyscraper like you, Switch.
Sure, for me, Natural Light's great taste run hoops around everyone else.
And there's nothing artificial in this less-filling beer. It's made with only natural ingredients.
Yeah, but taste is why I switched.
Whoa, nice. Cashmere?
Whoa, you can call it cashmere, you can call it reindeer.
Or you can call for more beer.
Natural Light. Taste is why you'll switch.
My name is Mike Withers. I'm a State Farm insurance agent in Rockland, California, speaking for thousands of State Farm agents all over the country. We have various reasons why we think State Farm has maintained a reputation and people keep coming back to us year after year. My personal belief is that it's the service. We deliver when the policyholder has a problem. We sell on that basis and we deliver on that basis, and people keep coming back.
State Farm is there.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Natural Light Beer, brewed with only natural ingredients for a clean, refreshing taste. And by American Motors, Concord, Spirit, and Eagle, built to last from American Motors.
Atlanta leading San Francisco 3-0 on a 40-yard field goal by Tim Mazzetti. We have 14 minutes to the half, and the 49ers will put it in play from their own 44-yard line. It's a 3rd and about 7 for Steve DeBerg. Hofer is releasing, and the pass is to Hofer to the 45 to midfield. And if he got out beyond, he did. It'll be a first down. So Hofer knocked out by Roland Lawrence, but there he is, leading the NFL in receiving yardage. Good for the first down.
Smart offensive football. They sent Solomon in motion. The Falcons' defense to strong side. They came back weak side to Hofer to pick up the first down. The Falcons' defense to Johnson's side to give him some help. Solomon and Clark were on the same side.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 49-yard line. San Francisco has shown it can move the ball, but they haven't been able to move it close enough to get on the scoreboard. Freddie Solomon goes right. Clark goes left, and DeBerg is going in the air over the middle. And it's to Freddie Solomon. And Solomon getting across the 45. He got out of the grasp of one tackler, and that was Robert Pennywell. And finally, Buddy Curry brought him down. You know, the last time the Falcons saw DeBerg, he went wild with the football. DeBerg threw 54 passes, completing 29 of them. And in that game, it might be well to remember, his leading receiver was Paul Hofer. So he moves it inside the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. It is 2nd down and about 5. In motion is Solomon. And DeBerg all alone finds Clark, and he's inside the 30. So Dwight Clark wide open, and a 2-year man from Clemson holds on inside the 30-yard line. First down.
Got another good call. They use motion to change the strength. And it's a delayed pattern by Clark. Everybody clears out. He checks for one count and then comes across shallow underneath.
DeBerg is now 9 for 12 for 67 yards, and they are sure playing loose. So 1st and 10 from the 27. Solomon in motion left, and DeBerg going to try him again. All alone is Hofer, and Hofer gets inside the 25-yard line.
Well, Ben, you know what it is? The 49ers use the short passing game to their backs as a running game. Instead of running the football, the short intermediate passing game becomes their running game, and they do it very well. Bill Walsh has a well-conceived offensive passing game.
So the Niners from their own 39-yard line have moved it to the Atlanta 25. It is 2nd and 8. Solomon goes wide right and Clark is left, with Hofer and Cooper behind DeBerg, and he's going to try yet another pass. And all alone is Hofer across the 20 down to about the 18. That means he hit Hofer, came back and hit Clark, and now he's hit Hofer 2 consecutively. That's 3 of the last 4 plays.
And neither pass carried over 8 or 10 yards. His progression there was looking downfield. Everybody was covered, so he dumps it off to Hofer. Now watch his head. He's looking downfield. He pumped the ball there. Nobody open. Hofer runs a stop pattern, 4 or 5 yards. 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1, 2 tight ends coming in. Charlie Young, who had banged up ribs, and Eason Ramson. And DeBerg, who's having trouble being heard anyway with the bad throat, is asking the crowd to be quiet. There goes Hofer, hurtling to the 15-yard line and the first down. Who is Paul Hofer? Well, he was in the shadow of O.J. Simpson for a while. 5 years out of Mississippi, one of 7 children. 2 years in a row, he won the Len Eschmont Award up here as the most inspirational player on the 49ers. That tells you a lot.
And he had 2 hands on the football on 3rd and 1. That's what I like.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 15-yard line. Charlie Young is on a wing. Play action fake to Hofer. DeBerg with time. Has his man, Eason Ramson, and the tight end is belted at the 10-yard line. And it was Dewey McClain who hit him and knocked the wind out of him for the moment. And Ramson is shaken out.
Ramson did a fine job of hanging on to the football. Now, the reason this pass is open, where the tight end comes across, is that the weak side linebacker, the right linebacker, is laying off and helping Johnson on the corner. So as a result, here it is, play action. That area is open. Then he comes back in, makes the tackle.
Boy, McClain hit him.
Just imagine if everyone drove a car like the Honda Civic DX, there'd be more room on the freeways. There'd be more space to park. And we'd probably all use less gas. The Honda Civic DX. It could make life a lot simpler.
Honda, we make it simple.
Life of Georgia in New Orleans? Sure, they're my company. They handle my personal and business insurance.
My business is custom design, so I can appreciate the way my Life of Georgia agent has tailored a plan to suit my needs.
I work hard, and I expect my life insurance company to do the same. So I chose Life of Georgia. They're one of the largest in the country, and here in North Carolina, they work with me.
Life of Georgia. We're working hard to ensure your future.
Eason Ramson shaken up on that savage hit by Dewey McClain. He is evidently okay. First drafted by Green Bay. Here's the hit. Watch McClain just stick him. Ramson shaken up, and Charlie Young is playing with bruised ribs, and the Niners have only 2 tight ends. So 2nd and 5 from the Atlanta 10-yard line. It is Phil Francis along with Paul Hofer now. Play action fake to Francis. There's Hofer, but he is hit and dropped as he backed across the 10-yard line. It was Frank Reed who hit him.
You know, Ben, Hofer shows his versatility. The ball is really badly thrown. Fakes to the fullback, play action. Now watch this. He has to make a complete pivot. Stays with it. Picks up a few yards.
Hofer now has handled the ball 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the last 7 plays. So 3rd down with Steve DeBerg working the ball from his own 39 inside the Atlanta 10, and San Francisco asking for a timeout, and DeBerg coming over to Bill Walsh.
That's something you don't like to see. Use a timeout before the 2-minute drill. It catches up with you.
8:56 to the half.
At about $4.50 a quart, this is one of the most expensive motor oils in the world. Or is it? If you drive 25,000 miles a year, the money you save on gas, oil changes, and oil filters alone can add up to $83. Up to $83. By switching from conventional 10W40 motor oil to synthetic Mobil 1. Mobil 1. The oil that saves you gas. And more.
Tried beech nut yet? Sure, years ago. Oh, I mean lately. Beech nut's changed.
Yeah, prove it. Look, moisture. Moisture on every leaf. No problem with hard sticks or stems. And it's packed with great tobacco taste. Doesn't burn, not too sweet, just right.
Now that sounds like my kind of chew.
Beech Nut Red and new Beech Nut Green, wintergreen chewing tobacco.
Tried beech nut yet?
Thursday, Gabe Kaplan stars in the network premiere of A Wild Comedy of Errors, Fast Break, a CBS special movie presentation. Thursday night at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
With a 3rd and 2, San Francisco brings in offensive tackle Gene Barrett, who also doubles as the 3rd tight end, and he has been announced as the tight end. And of course, when he comes in at that position, they figure a run. Ramson is the tight end on the left side. Charlie Young, the 3rd tight end, is on a wing. Hofer and Cooper, and it's Hofer. And Hofer gets inside the the 5-yard line, and it would appear as if he picked up the first down.
You know, Ben, Bill Walsh would like to carry 3 tight ends. It's really an advantage to have 3 tight ends in situations like this. So if you want to throw the ball, they have to defense that other guy. With Barrett in there, chances are, just as you said, they're going to run the football. I think before the year's over, the 49ers will pick up another tight end.
So the ball is just across the 5-yard line. It is 1st and goal for San Francisco. And Joe Montana is now the quarterback. And, of course, he bootlegged for a touchdown against the Jets last week. And he's going to bootleg it now. But he is going to be hit and pushed out of bounds inside the 5. Buddy Curry, Kenny Johnson, Frank Reed, Roland Lawrence, they knew that bootleg was coming.
Right. From last week's game against the Jets, they put Montana in, he ran a bootleg. That was a run all the way. No pass. He's got run on his mind all the way. No thought of throwing the football. You can get away with that a little bit, but you better have a balanced offense when you bring in DeBerg. I tried that with Joe Theismann when he was our backup quarterback. It was successful for a while, then after a while they defensed him.
Well, it is 2nd and goal from the 2. Lehman Bennett hoping his Falcons can stiffen, and now Steve DeBerg is at quarterback for San Francisco. In motion is Hofer. DeBerg on a roll, under some pressure, and throws it over the head of Charlie Young. Of course, actually, Young was double-teamed, and it might have been an interception.
He did the smart thing. Nobody open. Don't risk an interception. Just threw it up real high. A guy like Young can jump, but of course that's way too high. Safe thing, smart thing to do.
There were too many white shirts around Young, so DeBerg throws it away. That makes it a 3rd and goal. Ball just inside the 3-yard line. Cooper and Hofer behind DeBerg. In motion is Charlie Young. They'll try Hofer's number. And some good hits by the Falcons, particularly Kenny Johnson, along with number 27, Tom Pridemore. Otherwise, I think he might have made the plane to the goal, but they hit him and made sure he couldn't make it.
Then, here's where the coach has to do what he believes and not listen to the fans. The fans always want you to run the ball or throw the ball and never kick. Now, that last play, they sent Charlie Young in motion. They did that for a purpose, to see how the Falcons would cover Charlie Young. If they sent him in motion this play, they could use him as a receiver for the touchdown.
Bill Walsh talking to Joe Montana on the sideline. It is 4th and goal, and the Niners are going for it. DeBerg needs to waste a timeout again because of the throat problem that he has. The enthusiasm of the San Francisco crowd is actually working against him. That's a tough ball for him.
It sure is. The way you want that, the crowd should be quiet when you're on offense and yell when you're on defense.
There goes another gas station. Are the other going to stop?
The Corolla Tercel, Toyota's lowest priced car, gets such good gas mileage that for some, it could be a problem.
I got to stop at the gas station. Why, we haven't had to stop for gas in hours. We haven't stopped for anything. Do you know why I bought this front-wheel drive Toyota? Allow gas to the gas mileage. I'll stop, but I don't have to, because this is Toyota's highest mileage car. And Lester, oh, what a feeling. High mileage. Toyota.
Light beer?
Make mine natural light.
Hey, Cat Food Hunter, I thought you pitched that other light beer.
I drink natural light because the taste strikes home with me.
Yeah, there's nothing artificial in this light beer. It's made with only natural ingredients.
Great, but it's that taste that winds me up.
Hey! Blows here, catnip!
Natural light. Taste is why you'll switch.
Oh, yeah. There's Bill Walsh, 49 years old, the end of November, and there's Lehman Bennett at the other side. It is a 4th and goal from the 1, and DeBerg giving it to Cooper. He did not make it. The Atlanta Falcons hold him just shy of the goal line, and it's the old story. The only time a coach should listen to the fans is if the fans agree to pay his mortgage.
That's pretty good. The big thing down here, this is a pitch to to Cooper, weak side. Really great defense by the Falcons. They got penetration. Curry, number 50, comes over. Here it is again. Watch 50 come over there, Curry. Merrill got across, forced him deep. My rule was when I got down there, I wanted to come away with 3 points. I didn't want to take a chance and come up empty-handed, Ben.
Well, the Gold Miners came up with an empty pan. It's 3-0 Atlanta.
Can't wait to show you my new car. A solid, new 1981 Bartell.
Bud, that's the new 81 Cutlass Supreme.
Sure, Oldsmobile had it built, but it's me. Solid. Sound good? Great styling, and I even got a diesel for solid economy. I tell you, this car is me.
We've had one built for you.
Bartell.
Cutlass Supreme.
Oldsmobile.
The world's most advanced twin-blade razors are only as careful, gotcha, as you are. The Norelco rechargeable rotary razor has 36 surgical steel blades, carefully protected by 3 floating heads, and a unique shaving angle for a very close shave wherever you are, without a nick or a cut. The choice is yours. The close, careful Norelco rechargeable rotary razor, or 2 blades and gotcha.
Sunday, the NFL Today kicks off another wild, unpredictable afternoon of football. Check local listings for the game and time in your area on CBS Sports.
A fruitless San Francisco drive that covered 60 yards, consumed 7 minutes and 24 seconds. They had 2 timeouts, and they came up with nothing. So Atlanta puts it in play. 1st and 10 from the 1. Bartkowski has Kane and Andrews behind him. And Bartkowski trying to sneak it out, maybe picked up a yard.
Nothing wrong with that play. You're coming out of your own end zone. You got a big quarterback like Bartkowski, straight ahead, safe ball handling. He didn't make much, but it's still a good call. Here it is. There's a snap. You're going behind a good center like Van Oak. Pick up a couple of yards.
So it is 2nd down and 8 for Atlanta, leading 3-0. And we have 7 minutes and 4 seconds to the half. Andrews caught at the line of scrimmage and falls forward for a yard. It was Ted Vincent, number 75, who hit him at the ankles. 6'4", 265-pounder, 3 years out of Wichita State.
Well, they're doing what they can do well, go straight ahead, pick up a few more yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
So the ball is on the 5-yard line. They send Jackson wide right, and Francis in a slot left inside Jenkins. Bartkowski giving it to Cooper. And Big Andrews fights his way out to about the 10-yard line. Well, they're staying with William Andrews. In fact, if you're James Mayberry, you barely, if ever, get your hands on the ball.
Good offensive football in this area of the field. And they just missed picking up the 1st down.
Well, they missed by about a yard. They started on the 1. They got it out to the 10. So it is 4th and 1. And John James, averaging a little under 40 yards, did not kick it very well, as you can see, his first punt of the day. You have Solomon and Hicks standing back on the San Francisco 47. James, under some pressure, hangs it, and it will take a San Francisco bounce before it is finally down inside the Atlanta 40-yard line. Tony Dakin was the man who downed it.
Well, both of James's punts have given the 49ers field position. Now, he's one of the better punters in all of football. That ball floated, took a bad bounce.
Well, they'll put it on the Atlanta 36-yard line. There's some finals. Pittsburgh over Chicago. Rams beat the Giants. Detroit beat Minnesota. No upsets there. San Diego, Kansas City even in the 2nd. 1st and 10 on the 36-yard line for DeBerg. Solomon is in motion to the left. And the pass is to Clark, who laterals to Solomon, and he fumbles going out of bounds. So it's Niner possession on the Atlanta 29.
Now, Ben, that's the same thing we've been talking about. 37 Johnson is playing about 10 yards deep. You can't see it. Now, he can't cover without any help. He runs a little hitch pattern and then laterals the ball back to Solomon. Johnson comes up and makes the play.
Kenny stripped him, but he had run out of real estate. So it is second down and about 3. The ball is just inside the Atlanta 30-yard line. Solomon goes right. Clark is left. Whoa! Ron Singleton, number 67, who is the offensive captain for San Francisco. He just took off. He was rated the most improved offensive lineman on the 49er squad last year. He was a tight end in college, and he was eager to go and went long too soon.
Well, what happened there, DeBerg held him at the line of scrimmage quite a while. You can't hold those horses too long there. They're gonna jump off. They'll break their concentration.
So that'll make it 2nd and 8 on the Atlanta 34-yard line. Solomon going left. Clark goes right. And they split Cooper and Hoffer. And DeBerg has Solomon at the 30-yard line, and they drive him back a yard. But they will place the ball at the 30. They'll pick up a 4.
You know, Ben, that's right. Pick up a 4 yards, but they lost 5 on the penalty. When you get field position, you can't make mistakes. That seems like, well, he was just offside. So what? We still have good field position. But when you look back over a ball game, you say, you know, if we weren't offside on that, we would have kept the drive going. We might have won the game, see?
Good point. Here's the Falcon pass rush trying to get DeBerg. So far, he has gotten plenty of protection. So it is 3rd and 4. Wilson Formina making the stop. So Hofer, the workhorse, unable to move it, and it'll be 4th down, and San Francisco slightly dispirited at this time. They ran out on the 1-yard line, and they were unable to move it this time.
Well, here's an example right here. Instead of picking up a 1st down, now they have to go for a field goal.
The field goal by Ray Wershing, who is 4 out of 5. His longest is a 37. He led the NFL. The spot at the 37, so it's a 47-yard effort, and it hit the bar and went over. How do you do? Holy mackerel.
He kicked a line drive. Usually when you kick a line drive, you don't get that type of a bounce.
So San Francisco is bewitched, bothered, and still undefeated. And right now they're tied with Atlanta 3-3 on that effort by Ray Wershing. Look at that bounce again. Up and at him. So with 3:53 to go to the half, it's a 3-3 tie on field goals by Mazzetti and Wershing. That's a 47-yarder for Wershing to balance it up. 3:53 to go in the half, and Wershing will tee it up at the 35, and Atlanta will try to make a move. Watch Wershing's reaction as he's rooting that ball to hit the bar and get over. Ho-hum, just another field goal.
You know, Vin, number 50 on the 49ers, Tatalo, they picked him up as a free agent. He was with the Eagles. He is a great special team player.
Well, Ray Wershing kicking to little Reggie Smith. And Wershing gets his leg into this one, and Reggie Smith will take it at the 2. To the 10, 20, and down he goes. Tight into all 1 of 2. Kenny Times also hit him. I'm for some reason mixing that up, sure. So Reggie Smith brings it back. And Atlanta will put it in play and try and get something going at their own 25-yard line.
You know, Ben, Reggie Smith shows good hands. He's very sure in handling the ball, and he shows good quickness. doesn't have the great speed, it doesn't look like, but he has good quickness.
Oh, let's see what Bartkowski does now. From his own 25. Steve looking to the left side, and he has Wallace Francis, but he is pushed out by Johnson. Hard on that completion to Francis. So it is second down, almost 11. The ball is now just shy of the 25. We have 3 minutes and 6 seconds to the half and a 3-3 tie. Jenkins and Francis come left. Junior Miller on the right side. Bartkowski over the middle, no good, and a flag on the play. Bobby Leopold making contact. Wallace Francis moving across to make the reception, and Leopold, the rookie from Notre Dame, apparently guilty of the infraction.
Defensive pass interference, number 52, first down.
Well, Leopold 52 has such good position on him that he's playing the ball like he's the receiver. The 49ers were in a four-man line, went back to their standard defense. Now watch him right here. He's right there. Although he didn't play the ball, he tackled the receiver. Here it is again. Good call by the officials.
So first and 10 for Atlanta on its 32-yard line. Francis in a slot left. And Bartkowski going down the right side. No good, and oh, are the Falcons angry. Alfred Jackson made the catch. Well, the official saying that he was not in possession going out of bounds. And Ricky Churchman defending.
Right, he juggled the ball. He didn't have possession of it. And that time they went back to the three-man line. Good protection. Time to throw the ball. Here it is. Split the defense. He didn't have possession of the ball.
And look at the Falcons. They came flying out of the nest on that call. It is second and 10 on the 32. Francis going right. Jenkins goes left. Andrews and Kane behind Bartkowski. Timeout. And San Francisco calling time. They have used all three of their timeouts.
To use your third timeout on defense, that's unusual. That catches up with you. You have to save those timeouts for when you need them.
Well, San Francisco, on the contrary, burning up their three. One of them, you remember, DeBerg could not be heard with the crowd cheering, and he called time. Now a defensive timeout for San Francisco. They're on their own. Meanwhile, Atlanta has not used a timeout. The officials today, Bob Frederick is the referee. The umpire is Lou Palazzi. Head linesman Sid Seaman, and the line judge Bob Beeks. Back judge Bill Swanson. The side judge Ron Murphy, and the field judge is Bob Wortman.
San Francisco have used all three of their timeouts for the second quarter of first half.
There's the catch by Jackson, and then the hit by Churchman. And you can see it's on the ground. Now he's going to pick it up and hold it, and his teammates were furious.
The contact knocked the ball loose, knocked him out of bounds. The official made the correct call. Well, the 49ers are allowed three timeouts. They've used all three. They used two on offense, they used one on defense. So that puts the pressure on DeBerg the rest of the game. He has to play the clock, throw the ball out of bounds to stop it.
Second and 10 on the Atlanta 32. Francis comes left, and Jenkins goes right. Deflected into the hands of Ricky Churchman. There's a flag on the play. Churchman takes a lick and gets outside to the 30-yard line, but let's wait. The flag on the play, we'll see the call. They'll call it back, and we'll see in a moment the interpretation of the flag.
It's against the 49ers.
It'll be pass interference against San Francisco, and the interference evidently against Charles Cornelius.
Defensive pass interference. First down, Atlanta.
So Atlanta, instead of an interception. See if you can see number 28, Charles Cornelius. Right there.
Yeah.
That's it.
He hit him. He didn't have a fair shot to catch the ball. No question about that. It wasn't even close.
So Cornelius hits Jenkins. Atlanta 1st and 10 in San Francisco territory at the 48. 2:30 left in the half. And Bartkowski deep down the left side. No good. Just off the hands of Wallace Francis with Charlie Johnson defending.
Francis ran a perfect pattern. He had a 30-yard gain there if he throws the ball. He had no arch on the ball. He threw the ball nose down. Francis didn't have a chance to catch it. Here it is. Francis is covered short and long. He's splitting the defense. Now watch this. No chance. Made a good effort. You can't miss those plays. When you got a guy open, you got to hit him.
Well, it's 2nd and 10 on the San Francisco 48. Bartkowski is 5 for 10 for 23 yards. In contrast, DeBerg is 15 for 19 and 109 yards, but the score's even 3-3. Bartkowski on a draw. Andrews bumped into Van Note, now trying to make a play out of it on his own. And there's a flag on the play.
Well, the reason Andrews was hit and jammed back is a 49ers dog. Closed up the hole.
He'll bump into his center, Van Note, number 57, and then he turned what appeared to be a busted play into a big gainer, but the preliminary signal is holding against Atlanta.
Offensive holding, number 68. 2nd down.
So R.C. Thielman is guilty of holding. So after getting a big break on the pass interference call, Atlanta now is turned back by the offensive holding. We have 2 minutes and 14 seconds to the half. The ball is at the Atlanta 42-yard line. Bartkowski to Andrews at the 40, 45, midfield, hurdles over down to about the 46-yard line where Charles Johnson and Ricky Churchman brought him down.
Good offensive football. The 49ers came in with Perry and Rhodes for Bunce and Harper. Bartkowski wants to go downfield. He dumps it off to Andrews, picks up good yardage.
If you had driven along this street just a few years ago, the cars would have been very different. But now, more and more people are driving cars like the Honda Accord 4-door sedan, with room inside for 4 adults and their possessions. It's a true sedan in every sense. In fact, the Accord 4-door is one of the most successful front-wheel drive sedans in America. Simple proof that society has outgrown the big sedan.
Honda, we make it simple.
John Burns joined the Army in March and kept us waiting until October. Kathy Wolf joined the Army in May and kept us waiting all summer. If you're a high school graduate or about to be, you can join the Army now and take up to 12 months to report for duty. That way, if you qualify, we can guarantee you the skill training that makes you happiest. And we think a happy soldier is worth waiting for. This is the Army, a chance to serve your country as you serve yourself. Call this number toll-free.
With Medicare costs out of sight, 60 Minutes looks at a hospital bill. Length of stay, 23 days. Size of bill, $77,000. Sunday on CBS.
Portable television, bright sunshine, and a boy and a girl. Can't ask for more here at Candlestick right now. A good ball game, a 3-3 tie. Atlanta moving the ball to the San Francisco 47, and there's a shocker. St. Louis upsets Philadelphia 24-14. 3rd and 8. Dog, and he got away from one man but not another. It was Hicks who first put the initial pressure. Dwight Hicks, the rookie, and Jim Stuckey finally brought him down. Stuckey, number 79, a rookie from Clemson.
First round pick. Good call.
You'll see 22 barreling in a moment.
Here it is.
There he is. That's Dwight Hicks.
You gamble on that, but it's a good gamble. By the way, O.J. Anderson had 151 yards in that upset, Ben. 27 carries.
He's a marvelous performer, isn't he, George?
He sure is.
So it'll be a 4th down for Atlanta. John James standing on his own 30 with Solomon and Hicks, twin safeties, at the San Francisco 15. One 1 minute and 24 seconds, and let's see if it's a long count.
Yeah, good football. Keep the clock running. Put a little more pressure on DeBerg. He has no timeouts remaining. We got 1:23.
Delay, offense, 4th down.
So from the 46, that penalized to the Atlanta 41. And all that really means a little more time has been consumed. And the twin safeties move up 5 yards, Hicks and Solomon. An important factor, the 49ers have used their timeouts. 3-3 in the half. James with plenty of time and gets a good one away, and it'll be Hicks at the 15 to the 20, and maybe got about 3. Dakin drilled him coming in one side, and that was enough. So Tony Dakin, a good special teams man, along with Ray Strong, with the 2 men to hit him, and John James does his job. San Francisco will put it in play on their own 23 with 1 minute and 13 left, but even just as important or more so, no timeouts.
He had a 4.5 hang time. That's one of the reasons they couldn't return it.
1st and 10 on the 23 for San Francisco. Big Earl Cooper not going anywhere on that play. A rookie out of Rice. He was such a powerful looking senior that he was invited to play in the blue-gray, the east-west, and the Senior Bowl. There's a timeout to stop the clock with 1 minute and 3 seconds to the half. And DeBerg over to talk to Bill Walsh. I guess under the circumstances, you'd go for the bomb.
You should throw one bomb in here. You might get a big play out of it. You might get a penalty. The worst you should get is an incomplete pass. I would think they'd throw over there on 37, Johnson again. See how he's playing. If they're not giving him any help, he's playing deep, throw in front of him, get out of bounds, and stop the clock.
Steve DeBerg has played 4 games against Atlanta in his young career. He is 1-3. And he has just been a 50% passer. LEEMAN Bennett shoring up his defense. DeBerg has had a very showy first half. He's completed 15 out of 19 for 109 yards, but he hasn't really been able to put anything on the boards.
Short
and
stuff.
Most of his passes have really been, as you called him, George, really a running game, dumping them off to the backs.
LEEMAN Bennett was probably telling his defense now, loosen up. Don't give them anything cheap. We don't want to go in behind.
A 3-3 tie, 1 minute and 3 seconds to the half. Those are DeBerg's numbers. 2nd and 9. DeBerg over the middle to Cooper, and he is dragged down as he crossed the 25-yard line. Richardson and Curry got him. And the clock continues to tick to 54 seconds. And now Atlanta calling a timeout.
Well, now that's good football, Ben, for Atlanta, because if they can force the 49ers to punt, you can put the punt block on, or you can put your return on, and you might have position to kick a field goal. You've got your timeouts left. If you don't have to use them all, I believe they have 2 left.
That's right.
So that's good defensive thinking.
So the San Francisco 49ers 3-0 coming into this one. The Atlanta Falcons 1-2, but they have played much better than that record would indicate. Now you can see the Falcons with 1 timeout remaining. The ball is on the San Francisco 27-yard line, and DeBerg coming back in and whispering the call to his teammates. We were talking to him before the ball game, and he really does need the microphone. He can barely speak. 3rd and 6. Solomon goes wide right. And here's Clark on the wide left side. DeBerg to Solomon, and he'll run it out of bounds at the 37-yard line to stop the clock. That'll be enough for a first down. Roland Lawrence was over there defending.
Right, and Roland Lawrence had him all alone. Good offensive football. One-on-one. Get the first down, get out of bounds, stop the clock. You're out of timeouts.
They only have 49 seconds to the half. That's all, 49. A 3-3 tie. Mazzetti kicked one from 40, and Wershing kicked one from 47 that hit the crossbar and went over. The motion is Cooper. DeBerg going to Solomon again, and he made the catch and stepped out of bounds before.
Good call. The official was right there. Good call. I don't know whether we'll see that again.
So Solomon, and now, wait a minute, that preliminary signal was overruled. And they are now making it a complete pass.
Let's see if we can see that again.
I don't know. We'll take a look.
And control of the ball.
He was in control at the 46 of Atlanta.
There it is. He's right on the sideline.
Here he comes, and evidently was in control before going out.
Hard to tell.
So it is 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 46, 44 seconds to the half. DeBerg releasing to Hofer, and he is crunched as he got across the 45-yard line. Fulton Kuykendall really drilled him, and Kuykendall is shaken up a little bit.
You see, Ben, if they had a timeout, they could run the football now. They can't take a chance. They got to throw every down.
22 seconds to the half. Here's Solomon on that catch, but they're going right to live action, so we better stay with that. DeBerg, no good that time. Intended for Clark. That'll stop the clock with 11 seconds. Kenny Johnson there.
The ball was thrown low, and Kenny Johnson's got him covered.
Here's that play involving Freddie Solomon, where it was ruled he was in control of the ball before going out of bounds. Got it, and then went out.
Well, to me, I thought he only had 1 foot in. From where we said, it looked like he had just 1 foot in. Didn't have both feet in.
So we have 11 seconds to the half, a 3-3 tie. The ball is on the Atlanta 43. Freddie Solomon going wide left. Charlie Young is there. And DeBerg winding up to Clark, who struggles and goes out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. But there's flags. There might have been illegal procedure on the far side of the field.
Charlie Young was moving before the snap. They sent 3 receivers to the top side of our screen. To the left side, Charlie Young was in motion.
That's what happens when you shake loose 2 tight ends. Eason Ramson was also wide left. Illegal procedure against San Francisco with 5 seconds on the clock to the half.
Oh, that hurts, Vin. See, that last completion puts them in field goal range. Now they're out of field goal range.
The ball will be spotted
Illegal
at the 48.
motion. Number 80 on the offense.
80.
3rd down.
Ramson.
Yep.
So Eason Ramson, along with Charlie Young, was so far away, probably couldn't hear DeBerg. Remember, that's been a San Francisco problem. The quarterback with a bad throat, wearing a microphone and a power pack on his back. So 3rd and 12 from the Atlanta 48. 5 seconds, just enough to get this one off. And DeBerg going deep, and it is picked off by Richardson. Richardson to the 45, to midfield, to the 45, tripped at the 40-yard line. Flag on the play. Now, time is out, but remember, it depends against whom the infraction. So Richardson, Al Richardson, a rookie out of Georgia Tech.
Well, good coverage. He's not open. He throws it right in. And Richardson shows some good running ability here.
And with the interception, time has run out. It was a 28-yard return.
Clipping on the return. Offensive foul will not extend the quarter. Quarter ends.
That sums it up succinctly. At the end of the half, a 3-3 tie.
When you come right down to it, what kind of a person should occupy the Oval Office? Should it be a person who, like Ronald Reagan, opens his presidential campaign with a statement that alienates the people of China and follows it up with a statement that disparages the American South, and who is always explaining today what he really meant yesterday? Or should a man sit here who understands how to bring the people of this country and the world closer together? Figure it out for yourself.
When I looked at Datsun 280ZX and Porsche 924, I also looked at this new Mazda RX-7, and that's all it took.
Just one look, that's all it took. Yeah, just one look, that's all it took.
You get a lot of refined sports car with the Mazda RX-7. You also get great mileage, and you get it all at a price that'll really make you look twice.
Yeah, the more you look, the more you like.
You're looking at the best dandruff shampoo money can buy because it's been clinically proven best. Testing at a major medical school proved it works faster, gives more complete dandruff control than any leading dandruff shampoo. It's Selsun Blue, the only leading shampoo with selenium sulfide, the anti-dandruff ingredient doctors recommend most. No other brand has it. Try Selsun Blue. It simply works best.
This is the true story of Fania Fenelon, a singer with all Paris at her feet, until the Nazi terror caged her in a camp where some would do anything to survive, bargain with their gifts,
You must wish to please them.
and risk their very souls.
You'll never know you will. I'm not sure I wish to live.
In this nightmare, she played to live, and lived to tell the triumphant story of the women who were playing for time. Acclaimed as 3 of television's finest hours ever. Tuesday, September 30th.
Back in New York, I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. I'm sure you'd like to get right up to date on scores, so let's take you over to the great big board. And there the Rams dominate the Giants 28-7 for the lowly Giants. The Dallas Cowboys are next. Peacock, 19 carries, 85 yards. Pittsburgh rolls. Jim Smith catches 6 of Bradshaw's passes for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns, 38-3 the final there. Detroit 4-0, their best start since 1956. Sims, 27 carries, 157 yards. Bob Greasy, he's the best relief pitcher this side of Goose Gossage. 16-25 for 241 yards, all in the second half. And here he is, backing up and looking for Duriel Harris. The Saints ahead by 16 at the time, and Duriel gets out of bounds at the 2. Then they go to Bob Lee for the score. And suddenly, the Dolphins were back in business. Delvin Williams then scored the touchdown that put the Dolphins ahead finally. It was 21-16. And then, with just 11 seconds to go, Shula elected to punt on 4th down, even though New Orleans is out of timeouts. But Rich Mounty blocked the punt. And now, with 6 seconds to go, the Saints have got a chance to pull it out. Archie Manning, with his last play, works Harris to the right side of the screen. The pass is on the money. Harris is in the air. He's got it for what looks like a touchdown, but there's the flag. Offensive interference, and let's bring in Irv Cross. Irv, what about the call in that situation?
You have to remember, when a receiver gets more than 5 yards upfield, you can't touch him. Apparently there was a defensive maneuvering there where he was shoved upfield and passed out. It's just defensive pass interference.
And that was the last play of the game. Back to the scoreboard now. Buffalo rolling along. They, like Detroit, unbeaten. 24-7 the final there. Cribbs out of Auburn carries 30 times for 90 yards. Cleveland beats Tampa Bay 34-27 despite 3 touchdown passes by Doug Williams. Williams is 30 of 56 for 343 yards. Houston, without the great Earl Campbell, who didn't play by an injury, beats Cincinnati by 3. Stabler, 28 of 34. And look at that upset, 24-14. O.J. Anderson win 144 yards in that game, 14-yard touchdown, 37-yard touchdown. Cowboys come back and dominate Green Bay. White throws a 20-yard touchdown pass to Drew Pearson that sealed it away. Now we got some partials, second quarter. Baltimore 21, the Jets 14. Now these are all games still in progress. Seattle leading Washington by 7 on a 21-yard run by Zorn. San Diego now dominating Kansas City 21-7. Capoletti has scored for the Chargers, 3 yards out. And of course the game you're watching, good defensive struggle. Atlanta and San Francisco tied at 3. And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
With Medicare costs out of sight, 60 Minutes looks at a hospital bill. Length of stay, 23 days. Size of bill, 80 feet long and $77,000 high. Tonight on CBS.
One of the reasons why the Los Angeles Rams got off to that atrocious start is the fact that Wendell Tyler has not been able to play because of an injury. Well, they turned today to Elvis Peacock, and he finally came through. He'd missed a lot of playing time because of a damaged knee. But this was the former Oklahoma Star's afternoon in the Meadowlands. On 4th and goal, they stretch the defense, and then Peacock just bangs in. Then they set it up in the eye as they come back down on the Giants, and they jump the big fellow over the top, and it was 14-0. But that's not all the weapons Ferragamo's got. Rookie tight end by the name of Walt Arnold. Crossing pattern wide open. And the young man from New Mexico just strides on in. And it's going to be a long season for that man right there. Now Ferragamo again. He's got one of the better long arms in the NFL. Throwing it from about the 27. There's Drew Hill. 60 yards. Down to the New York 4-yard line. Now let's run Peacock wide. But he likes contact. He'll cut upfield and take on the defensive back, and he'll still get in for his 3rd score. Last play of the game. Scott Brunner, the rookie out of Delaware, zips one to Perkins, and it was all Los Angeles in that game, just like it was all Pittsburgh and the one you've got.
One-sided right from the very opening gun. The Steelers won the game 38-3. Jim Smith, substituting for the injured John Stallworth, caught 3 touchdown passes, had a big day, and Bradshaw goes them early. In the first quarter, number 12 looks to his left and sees number 86 in the end zone. Jim Smith picked up his first TD pass of the day. Smith again on the receiving end of this one, touchdown pass number 2. Bradshaw staying with the hot man, goes to him once again. Number 86 picked up his 3rd touchdown pass, 24-3 at that point in the game. Franco Harris on a pitch to his left makes a nifty 24-yard run, setting up a scoring opportunity for the next quarterback. You know, number 18, Cliff Stout, playing his first game as a Steeler. First pass, touchdown to Franco Harris and his teammates congratulate him. They went on to roll 38-3.
Gary Danielson for the Lions, zipping one now to his tight end, David Hill. It was 7-0 over Minnesota, but the Vikes tied it on this play. Tommy Kramer, Ahmad Rashad, 40 yards, touchdown, Minnesota. But Danielson rallying the Lions, this time going to Freddie Scott for a 5-yarder off a scramble. And it was 17-7 Lions. And then Ray Oldham, formerly the Baltimore Colts, stepped up, picked this pass off for the Lions, dashed in. It was 24-7. How did Billy Sims do? Just fine. For the 3rd time in 4 games as a professional, he busted 100 yards. Here's a 52-yard run, 27 carries, a total of 157 yards. And how sweet it is, Billy Sims. And just how far can the Lions go? I don't know. I think they go all the way to the playoffs.
I was out there last week, and they said they have a little theme song. Another one bites the dust. So I guess they did today. But the Philadelphia Eagles suffered their first loss today to the St. Louis Cardinals, and they went down to defeat in St. Louis by a score of 24-14. The Eagles only given up 16 points all year coming in this ball game, gave up 24. And, of course, one of the big guns for the Cardinals is their great running back. But Ron Jaworski, early in the game, goes up top here, and the ball is picked off by number 27, Carl Allen, who rambles along his left sideline and breaks inside as he picked up a couple of blockers, goes 68 yards for a touchdown, setting the tempo for the Cardinals early. In the second quarter, The Eagles get their offense rolling, and Ron Jaworski on a 4th down play on the 1-yard line. You'll see it in a second. Rolls to his left on a bootleg. Comes around the end here for a touchdown of 7-7. But Otis Anderson was the big gun of the day for the Cardinals, number 32. Here's a 15-yard TD run, which is a typical run for Otis Anderson. Going outside, powering upfield, touchdown 77 St. Louis. And Otis Anderson doesn't stop here. A 37-yard TD run, this time to his right, breaking several tackles. The big guy goes upfield, and the Cardinals win it 24-14 for their first win of the year.
All right, Danny White off the fake punt for the Dallas Cowboys in Milwaukee against Green Bay, and he's finally stopped after a 50-yard run. Got down to the 21, and then White led him to the 1, and it was Tony Dorsett for the Cowboy touchdown. Steve Atkins has been switched to fullback by Bart Starr, and he scored on this 6-yard run, and it was tied at 7. And then Danny White went back to work for the Cowboys against Bart Starr and the beleaguered Packers. First he went to Cosby for this touchdown, and it was 21-7. Then Drew Pearson, the forgotten man, in that attack, caught this one for the touchdown, and they rolled.
Can you believe the Buffalo Bills beat the Oakland Raiders 24-7? There's Curtis Dickey going over for a 10-yard run. Kenny King, number 22, blast upfield. Is hit, and the ball's recovered by Buffalo, setting up another scoring opportunity. 3 plays later, number 20, Joe Cribbs, goes over for a touchdown, 14-0 Buffalo. The Bills go to the air, and this ball is picked up by number 17, Lester Hayes, who goes 42 yards around the left sideline for a touchdown, and the Oakland Raiders are back in the ball game. But the Bills know how to get points on the board. They go up top to number 20, Joe Cribbs. He rambles down the right side, touchdown, and Buffalo remains undefeated, 24-7.
Irv, I've got some late baseball action. Montreal is about to go back into first in the National League East. They lead Philadelphia 7-1. That game is in the 8th. They, of course, trail the Phillies by a half game. Houston over Cincinnati 5-4, and San Diego shutting out the Dodgers 3-0. So the Dodgers could be in deep trouble as they approach the final week. The Yankees are as good as in. 6-5, they lose today to Detroit in 10. But Baltimore can only pick up 1 game, 5-3. No more doubleheaders left, and the Orioles and Earl Weaver are quickly running out of time. One final note, George Brett off the bench for Kansas City, pinch hit grand slam home run. Raises his average from 384 to 385. Not going to make 400, but still a marvelous year. Let's send you back to Vin Scully in San Francisco.
Well, thank you, Brett. Hi once again, everybody, on a beautiful day here in the Bay Area. The undefeated 49ers have 3, and the Atlanta Falcons have 3. It was kind of nice, George, for us to watch all the touchdowns being scored, because otherwise we wouldn't know what one looks like. Why do you think that they're in such a stalemate? What's the big number for you?
Well, neither team has been able to run the ball. The 49ers have 35 yards running. Atlanta has 48 yards running. The 49ers passed up a sure field goal inside of the 5, didn't make it on 4th down. It's an even ball game. The Atlanta team, as we said, is a better football team than their record.
Bartkowski has completed 6 out of 11 for 34 yards. Meanwhile, DeBerg has some big numbers, 19 for 25 for over 100 yards, but neither side getting into the end zone. So as we await the start of the second half, it's the 49ers 3, Atlanta 3. And we're just a minute or so away from the opening kickoff of the second half.
This Bud's for everyone who works, so we can play.
This Bud's for you. This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Introducing a car that combines the brain power of German engineers, Japanese engineers, American engineers. Introducing a world car. The new Ford Escort, built in America with better ideas from around the world. Higher gas mileage ratings than Rabbit, Accord, Corolla hatchback. Yet roomier inside. With 4-wheel independent suspension, front-wheel drive. Ford Escort, built in America to take on the world.
Here, Phil, let me help you up there. There you go. Hi, I'm Tommy Myers of the New Orleans Saints. My friend Phil and I are here on a riverboat cruise with other big brothers and sisters in New Orleans. They're a great bunch of people. They take time out of their busy lives
to try and bring a little love into the lives of some very special boys and girls. I know what it's like to need a big brother. When I was younger, I lost my dad to cancer. Then a man named Andy Marciano came into my life. He was there when I needed him, to bawl me out when I needed it, to lend a word of encouragement when I needed it, a word of love. Andy's gone now, but I'll never forget what he did for me. And I don't think these kids will soon forget what their friends have done for them either. Thanks to people like these, the United Way works here. And thanks to you, it works for all of us, right? Right! The United Way.